Democrats have a weakness that has burned them for decades, and it is dogging President Biden. In short, they failed to sell and explain what it is they're trying to do.
It's transformative, it's historic, it's life-changing, and it will pass soon.
That sounds good. What is it?
We're literally about competitiveness versus complacency.
That sounds intriguing. What is it?
President Biden's Build Back Better plan.
And polling is showing us most voters don't know what that means.
Actually, his full Build Back Better plan.
Build Back Better. It's good alliteration, but not good branding.
There is no political justification for opposing Build Back Better Act.
If you don't know what it is, it may sound more like improving building codes, which it's not, than what they wanted it to be, which is free community college, lowered drug prices, universal pre-K, making daycare and elder care more affordable, and paid family leave. All stuff that's very popular with voters but gets lost in translation. And this has been the Democrats' Achilles heel for more than 40 years, going back to when Reagan showed them just how overmatched they were in terms of wits and words.
I will not make age an issue of this campaign. I am not going to exploit, for political purposes, my opponent's youth and inexperience.
Yeah, Republicans back then had the great communicator, and Democrats had this.
If Kitty Dukakis were raped and murdered, would you favor an irrevocable death penalty for the killer?
No, I don't, Bernard, and I think you know that I've opposed the death penalty during all of my life.
Well, after Dukakis flamed out, a new wave of Democrats came along and dug the party out of the ashes by doing two things. One, embracing moderates, and two, teaching Democrats how to communicate. They were led by Al Fromm and future President Bill Clinton. And they taught Democrats to explain and sell their ideas by framing them on their core values, like faith and family, work, mutual responsibility, and equal opportunity for all and special privilege for none. In terms of communicating a message, the values form the roots, the policy they were advancing form the trunk, and then the action points and the sound bites form the branches of their outline. That's how they communicated. And it's how Clinton and his allies revived the Democratic Party in the 90s and became known as the commander-in-chief and the explainer-in-chief.
You see, we believe that we're all in this together is a far better philosophy than you're on your own.
And it's how Clinton revived President Obama when he was down in the count against Mitt Romney.
If there's one thing we've learned in this election season, by the way, it is that a few words from Bill Clinton can do a man a lot of good.
But with Clinton passing the torch to a next generation.
I was a senator for 370 years.
Okay, new in terms of different leaders, their same old weakness got exposed. And for weeks, instead of focusing on what they want to do and what's in it for us, they got all tangled up in trying to explain how much it will cost. And then it gets depicted in news reports across the nation as money raining down on the Capitol. And the sound bites they give to the press keep going back to numbers and money.
It's somewhere between, 1.9 and 2.2.
Which gets depicted as more images of money and people walking around with these huge chunks of money. The plan to lower drug prices on consumers and save the government hundreds of billions of dollars along the way, something President Trump also favored, by the way. Well, that all gets muddled or lost in the volley of sound bites talking about money. And this one wants more money than that one and this one, and to pay for stuff that most people don't even understand what they're talking about because they haven't explained what the stuff is. While their own words drive the news cycle around stuff like what happens if they don't get all the money that they want.
We're not going to get $3.5 trillion, but we're going to get it. And we're going to come back and get the rest.
Which gives Republicans an easy line of attack.
The amount of money the Democrats are spending is staggering.
Now, in fairness, Republicans also muddled their pitch for health care reform under President Trump. In fact, Trump even called his own plan back then mean.
Mean, that was my term.
And whichever side you're on, this is a striking lesson for both parties and for future leaders in the value of explaining the payoff instead of the price. Because in politics, you don't know what you're doing if you don't let people know what you're doing.